What is going on, my friends? Hank here, and this was one of the most fun kits that I've built up all year. This here is the classic 1982 Monogram F105G Thunderchief Wild Weasel kit. Now, I picked this beauty up a few weeks ago at IPMS BayCon for 20 bucks, expecting it to kind of be a casual practice build, one that I wasn't really planning on using to make any content for the channel here, just a quick one to kind of mess around with. Monogram is a venerable old brand, one of the original big names in modeling, but it's also a brand that nowadays is kind of associated with outdated features like raised panel lines or iffy fits, etc. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, they just don't always hold up to the engineering thresholds of today. But again, comparing a 1982 Monogram kit to a 2025 Tamiya kit is like comparing an 82 Cavalier to a 25 Camry. You can't really be surprised when the Chevy doesn't have Bluetooth support. That said, building this old thing was way more fun than I ever would have expected, a great experience from top to bottom. The Thud is a big old beefy jet, and Monogram captures the imposing form of this funky cigar-shaped Century Series fighter quite well. The entire build was less than 100 pieces, including the underwing ordnance, and amazingly, the whole thing practically fell together. The cockpit, though Spartan by today's standards, dropped right into place between the two sandwiched halves of the fuselage, and there's virtually zero filling required aside from one small gap around the non-functional sculpted bomb bays on the bottom of the kit. Each wing fell together equally as well, with the top and bottom halves mating very crisply with minimal sanding required. A small singular strut through the fuselage helped guide each wing into place, and they each nestled shockingly well against the body of the aircraft, with only the tiniest bit of filler needed towards the aft section of the left wing root. The Thud's gear followed a similar pattern to the rest of the build, simple details, but clear, foolproof instructions on how and where to mount each piece. The gear did prove to be the only portion of the construction that required any real caution, as the struts themselves are a bit spindly for such a big bird. Nothing an extra dab of superglue and a quick break to settle couldn't solve. With the rather sparse nature of the cockpits in this old mold, I decided to add the included pilot and EWO in their respective seats, which is a fun little touch. And after a few more small accoutrements were added, it was time to press onto the Weasel's external stores and munitions. This offering from Monogram depicts the specialized two-seater G variant of the Thud, modified for suppression of enemy air defenses, or SEAD operations in Vietnam, as a replacement for the F-100 Super Sabres formerly used in that role. I am thinking about doing a full video on SEAD Weasel units in the near future, so stay tuned for that. As a G model, Monogram is appropriately included in an assortment of period-accurate ground attack munitions for the anti-radiation role. The kit comes with two external fuel tanks, one in the ventral position below the bomb bays, and a second asymmetrically mounted tank on the inboard right pylon. Accompanying that tank on the opposite inboard hardpoint is one AGM-78 standard anti-radiation missile, or STARM, which is a modified version of the Navy's RIM-66 SAM. And rounded off, the Thud gets two smaller AGM-45 Shrikes for each outboard pylon. After a nearly full construction process, I adorned the kit with the standard Cold War 4-color Southeast Asia camo scheme and a basic sludge wash to accentuate the mixture of recessed and raised panel lines. Unfortunately, the kit supply decals date back to the original 1982 boxing and were in pretty poor condition. After a nearly immediate disintegration of the first decal upon entering the water, a call to the pen was necessary, so to speak. These lovely Cartograph aftermarket decals depicting a bird of the 17th Wild Weasel Squadron filled in perfectly. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, I picked up this long-retired kit secondhand at a model show, and accordingly, as sometimes happens, it came with a couple little surprises inside the box. First up was this little mail-in postcard from the manufacturer, or the distributor, with a survey on the back for a chance to win a free model kit. There's a whole variety of questions on here regarding your modeling habits, but my favorite two are as follows. Number 1, do you have a telephone? Yes or no. And number 2 here, do you have a VCR? Yes or no. And that is followed by Mondale or Reagan. Just kidding about that last one. Beyond that, though, there was also this gem of an artifact from the 1984 IPMS USA National Convention in Atlanta. It seems that they were giving out some special decals for the F-105G kits in the markings of the 116th Fighter Wing. After a little digging, I discovered that the 116th attached to the Georgia Air National Guard was the last American unit flying the Thud into the 80s, with this bird here, serial number 638299, being the final Thunderchief retired in May of 1983. I couldn't bring myself to test these out this first time around, though the pack does come with markings for a 1/48th and a 1/72nd scale bird, so maybe I'll have to do a test on the smaller version first. We'll see. If anybody did attend the 84 Nats, or even served with the Georgia Air National Guard at Marietta, please do let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear more about that. All in all, though, guys, this kit was just so fun. Scale modeling technology has obviously come leaps and bounds since this guy came out in the 80s, and all this progress is obviously a tremendous and extremely necessary thing to keep this hobby alive. but it's a real treat every once in a while to just take a shot at an old kid and everything just works. No fuss, no hassle, just sit down for a couple evenings with some cold beers, a little documentary on in the background, and just knock out a kit. Perfect. So, thank you guys for tuning in. If you would like to hear a little more about the Wild Weasel program and the various equipment they used, hint, hint, I've built 3 different variants of those vehicles now. We could do a whole thing on this. Please do let me know down below. Thanks again, guys, and until next time, my friends, be well, happy building. Cheers.